Welcome to another edition of The Naked Truth. I'm Ramon Rome.
My name is John Singletary.
And we'd like to first of all thank you for watching this video, and also we'd like to thank you for subscribing if you have already. If you haven't, please subscribe right now. Today's video is entitled The Friendship Nine. John, you want to take it away from here about the Friendship Nine, the history of it?
Well, the Friendship Nine is a group of individuals who decided to change the course of the civil rights nonviolent movement by actually deciding not to be bailed out of jail. Initially, the nonviolent movement encompassed going to jail, getting bailed out. After you got bailed out, you basically did it over again. It frustrated the opposition. The Friendship Nine, because at that time during the civil rights struggle it was hard to come by funds to continually bail people out, they decided, well, you know, we're going to go to jail, get arrested, but we're going to stay in jail. And so they actually did 30 days on the chain gang.
Look, John, that strategy is strategy that even we incorporating with Judicial Freedom Rights.
Sure, right? It shifted the burden of the expense onto the state.
On the state,
because now they had to house them
for their wrongdoing.
For
their wrongdoing.
Exactly right.
Right.
And so there was a.
And they spent 30 days in jail.
Yeah. So
it
was a pivotal point in the student nonviolent movement. Even though one of the little known facts is that the student nonviolent movement really started at South Carolina State in the 50s.
Right.
And
with our good friend
attorney Fred Moore.
Right.
There's a book that's out. It's called Out of the Box in Dixie, and here it is. It's done. Beautiful book, and it has the student nonviolent movement at South Carolina State. Talks about the Orangeburg Massacre, how Thurgood Marshall came to South Carolina State, and there's a lot of interesting facts that are actually in the book. If you get the opportunity, purchase it and definitely read it. There's some things in there that you'd be amazed about, like the fact that the Orangeburg Massacre was the very first time where they actually opened fire and literally killed students,
nonviolent,
who went on
right.
Anywhere.
1968.
Exactly right. And so those are some of the things that you'll find in the book. But like I said, just like when Brown versus Board started really with the Briggs versus Elliott case, but because a Supreme Court justice who was from South Carolina didn't want it to be known that South Carolina was the reason why that Brown versus Board moved forward, they changed it and used the name Brown. But those are kind of the things that you'll actually find in the book. But not to take away from. Go ahead. Not to take away from the guys.
Right. From the but no, because what they did. I mean, what's sad about it?
It was courage.
Yeah, but what's sad about it is that you're talking about 1961, and you mean to tell me 54 years later they're finally being exonerated?
54 years later.
Is it a coincidence?
No restitution.
Is it a coincidence?
Just clear the name.
Is it a coincidence that in the state of South Carolina, black man justice comes hard? It's hard.
Chain gang hard.
Right, 30 days, hard labor, chain gang. Chain gang. And back in those days, they weren't only brutally beaten, but back in those days they were lynching. They were still lynching.
Sure. Sitting at a counter.
For sitting in the counter.
Sitting at a counter. So hats off to the guys. Of course, we are happy that finally in Rockville,
Rockville,
that they finally wised up. They're honoring them. But there should be some additional restitution
Yeah.
that's made to them for the time they actually
Because I
spent.
believe that after, if you look at the interviews, I believe that some of those young men, they were hard for them to get jobs.
Sure.
You know, after being arrested,
They had a record.
Look, John, you and I know you filed a discrimination lawsuit. Look here, nobody wants to hire you.
Absolutely
They
not.
don't want to. Hey, we know. So you know, it's not. And you're in the state of South Carolina, and keep in mind, this is the state to where the Civil War started. This is the state that they basically lynched a 14-year-old boy by the name of Mr. Stenney 70 years ago with no due process. So the court system in South Carolina has a long, long way to go. But I applaud them for doing the right thing on this in this case here.
Sure, I mean, and it tells that the judge that actually heard the case was the nephew of
Right. The judge that
originally heard it.
Right.
And the attorney, the prosecutor, is still standing by the guys. He was actually the prosecutor on the case. In the book,
The defense attorney that originally defended them was that when he stood by them when they got this, when they were exonerated. That's what it was.
Right. One of the chapters in the Out of the Box in Dixie is the real beginning of the civil rights movement. And it says part 2 basically talks about Orangeburg and the second wave, and it starts in July of 1954. That's 5 months before the Montgomery bus boycott. And so there needs to be more done and said about the origin of the student nonviolent movement and the people who played a part in that.
Right. I mean, you know, we just the movie that's out now, Selma, it just reminds us of how far we have come, but yet also it should remind us to say, hey, how far we've yet
We need to go.
right?
That's right.
Because we still have a problem with our justice system, and but what I like is the fact that in 1961 their idea was to let them come out of their pocket. You know, let the Justice Department come out of their pocket, and that is still can be used today.
It was ingenious.
It was ingenious. Yeah, sure, absolutely was. Absolutely was. Well, again, we celebrate this moment in history for the Friendship 9, which they're all students too. You know, young. I mean, you know, students. You know, we applaud them. We applaud them. Please like this video. Please share this video and become a member of this, or subscribe to this channel. We appreciate your time. Our time is up. This has been another edition of The Naked Truth.